Today we're going to be looking at input and output flowcharts. So I'm going to pull up a flowchart here, and it is good to know that the input is at the beginning of the flowchart and the output is at the end. So essentially the input is the question and the output is the answer. You can see there are directions there. So we're going to go from the output to the input. And when you're going from the output to the input, we actually have to work backwards. And we call that the inverse operation, or the opposite of what you should normally do. So we're going to start from 28. We're going to go through the steps to take us back to the question. So it says 28 times 2. The opposite of times 2 is divided by 2. 28 divided by 2 is 14. 14 add 6. Opposite of add 6, take 6. And 14 take 6 is 8. So the input is 8. Now how do you check that it works? You would start at your input and go through the directions above, which should lead you to your output. The next example, 7 plus 3, opposite of plus 3, take 3. 7 take 3 is 4. 4 times divided by 5, the opposite of divided by 5 is times by 5, and the answer is 20. So the input is 20. And if I went from the input and followed the directions above, it should take me to the output. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go from an input to an output, which is from the question to the answer. And this is just where you follow the same steps. We do not need to do the opposite. So we're going to start from x and work through the steps. X times 2 is 2x. Then we take 7. Therefore, the expression would be 2x takes 7. The next example, we start with the w. Take 7, which is w takes 7, and then we multiply it by 2, which would be 2 bracket w takes 7. So you start from your input and go through each of the steps to lead you to your output. So we're now going to have a go at drawing our own flowchart, and we're going to have a look at this example first of how it's broken it down for us. So we always start with x. Then we find the first step you actually have to do in this expression, and that is x plus 6, which would give you x plus 6. The next step is multiplying it by divided by negative 2. Therefore, the expression is negative 2 bracket x plus 6. So let's start with our own flowchart from x. So looking at this expression over here, the first thing they've done is they've added 7. That would give us x plus 7. And the second step is multiplying it by 2, which would give us an output expression of 2x plus 7. Let's have a look at the next example, starting with x. The first thing they've done is multiplied by negative 5, which would be negative 5x. And then they have added 11, which would give negative 5x plus 11. And that is how you use input and output flowcharts as an introduction to balancing equations.